Welcome to the Canoga Park Youth Arts Center's new series, Art Appreciation, where each class we will investigate different artists, their artwork, their lives, and come to a better understanding of who they were as people and their artwork. The spring session has been dedicated to women artists to give them an equal voice. And today we are studying the artist Faith Ringgold. She's an American painter, best known for her paintings on quilts. Let's take a look. That is Miss Faith Ringgold. She spent most of her life in Brooklyn, New York. She's still alive, and she may still be teaching at San Diego, but she taught there for a long time. She's getting up in years now. She may not be there much longer and retire. So when she was a little girl, her mom would bring back fabric from her sewing job that she had, and Faith started getting interested in quilts. We can see in this one of her early paintings that she's kind of dividing up the surface into these quilt-like patterns. A quilt is a blanket that's made from a lot of different pieces and sewn together. So in this first painting of hers, we kind of see the direction she's thinking of heading. Now, there are a couple topics that are very important to Faith, and one of them was community. So this one is a Sunday picnic, and she made a lot of paintings about the things that she saw around her neighborhood. And also, she writes a lot on her paintings. You can see up here, there's all this writing up there, really, really tiny, hard to see. You know, Faith wanted to publish books, but she kept being told no. So at one point she said, you know, I'm just gonna write my own. So first she started writing on quilts, and then she wrote a children's book called The Tar Beach. It's the book she's best known for. Now, for those who don't live in a city, they may not know what the word tar beach means. But when you live in a city and it's a hot summer night, most people will go up to the roof to get some cool air. Some even take naps up there. Now, the reason why they call it a tar beach is because the roof is covered with this stinky stuff called tar, so it doesn't leak. And they're treating it like a beach because they're kind of going out like it's a beach, only it's a roof. So she wrote this book called The Tar Beach, and that's one of the illustrations from it. Now, when we come down here, we can see this beautiful sunflower painting that she did, and it's called the Quilting Bee. Now, a long time ago, and to this day, to a lesser degree, quilt making was a very social activity. People didn't have access to news channels, so a lot of times the women of a community would come together and work on a quilt. And as they sat around the table, they would exchange the news of the day. And it also connected them as a community. Now, in this painting of sunflowers, we have this odd little gentleman standing there because all of those women are related to Faith. This is Faith, her grandmas, her mom, her aunts, but there's a dude there. That is Vincent van Gogh, an homage to Vincent van Gogh because he made so many sunflower paintings. And you can tell most of her paintings have this border that goes all the way around, and oftentimes that has the writing on it. Now, here is a painting of a trip to a museum. So Faith does what we call narrative work. Narrative is when a story is suggested by the pictures. So we can see that picture and we're imagining, they had an outing at a museum, and maybe reflect back on when we had outings in museums. But when a person makes narrative work, it's easier for an audience to identify because they see a story and they can see a picture of it, one still picture, and then kind of fill in the blanks. I wonder what's going on. Did they have lunch today? I wonder if they're enjoying their time at the museum. Up here, we have an example of how she made paintings about her community. This one is called Double Dutch on the Brooklyn Bridge. Double Dutch is when you use 2 jump ropes. Very challenging to do. Certainly not possible to do on the top of a bridge. She did a couple bridge paintings. Here's another one she did with someone playing a saxophone. I think this might be the Brooklyn Bridge as well. I want you to notice how the buildings in the background are divided up like with squares and patterns. So they connect with the patterns that are on the outside edge. So much of this artwork becomes about patterns. And it also is an indication of how much Faith loved music. When she was growing up as a little girl, music was pouring out onto the streets, and it was really lively, filled with art and music and dance and writing. So Faith made a couple of paintings about music. There was a lot of jazz being played back there, a very high energy type of music. So she tried to capture that energy by doing these paintings of some of the musicians that used to play near where she lived. Now you'll notice there's no words on these, but the images are very strong. Look at these. These are beautiful. All the patterns around here, we don't really see a stage, do we? We just see the people kind of floating in space. So we're free to enjoy the energy of the music, and we can almost hear it in our ears. So Faith Ringgold did so much to show us what her life was like, what her community, her family, and told us her stories. So we're very grateful to her for that. I hope you enjoyed learning about Faith Ringgold today. I know I did. And perhaps you'll consider making some artworks that tell the stories about your life and talk about the things that are important to you. Thank you again for joining us at the Canoga Park Youth Arts Center's Art Appreciation. And we'll see you again for another wonderful woman artist.